What up, cuz? Thursty Thursday. C'est jeudi à soir. What y'all doing? I just got in from work. I actually manifested exactly the shift I wanted. It occurred to me sometime later this afternoon. I was like, oh, it'd be really nice if I was like on a private party tonight. And if it was like really like easy and family dining style, and like they have a minimum, but it's like not too many people. So I just like make the best money for the least amount of effort. And I went in and I was looking at the floor chart and I didn't see myself on it. And I thought, I even checked my messages this time to make sure I wasn't like cut from the floor. And as it turns out, I was on a private party in the back room. It was like 26 people's family dining style. So it was exactly what I wanted. It was like low key and easy. And I got home earlier than usual. I got home at like 10:30 instead of a lot later. And so super excited. And I'm always excited for like a random manifestation, no matter how big or small. And speaking of, did I tell you guys about the food that I manifested recently at work? I was thinking, I miss our macaroni and cheese because we haven't had it on our main menu. And we were all joking around and like they were freaking out because I manifested some other food that like dropped in our lap. And this girl was like, Liz, if you manifest like one more thing, I swear I'm gonna like start worshiping you and like going to the Church of Liz. And I was like, please don't, I'm just the vessel. But I was like, y'all are gonna turn white and like the blood's gonna run out of your face the day that the mac and cheese falls out of the sky. And they're like, oh, I know, sure enough, a couple of days later, our family meal before our shift, like on the weekend, since we have a longer shift, like they make us something that we all eat together before we start. It was mac and cheese with like short rib pieces in it. And I was thinking, are any of the people here from that day? Because I've got a cult to start. Yeah, and so then the other day, I had this random thought. I was like, ooh, what if one night I just like ordered pizzas for us to eat while we closed the restaurant? And then I was thinking about the logistics involved. I'm like, well, I guess I'd have to have them come in the back door. And, there's that one really good pizza place that like my boss always orders pizzas from. I'm like, that would be super cool. And then I just sort of let it go and didn't think about it again. And that very night, we were closing the restaurant and in walks the pizzas that were like from my favorite like pizza delivery place from nearby. And I was like, I scared myself that time. I was like, hell, I'm gonna try walking on water. We're raising the dead. So we're here for our weekly romance reading. It's always interesting to see what comes up. I have no hopes and no expectations for us. Just an empty, clear channel over here. I would like to tune into our angels, though, who are guiding us along the way. And I would love messages for us concerning what we need to do regarding our romantic lives this week, how we can align with our potential, how we can have more self-love for ourselves, how we can love others better, and how we can overcome our pitfalls. And first one that flips over is our favorite, forgiving and learning. Love this. I especially love the depiction on this card of this arrogant man crushing this woman's head who's groveling at his feet, and he's just so arrogant. He's just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll get over it. And she's probably hasn't done anything wrong. She's probably cleaned the whole house. And he came in and threw his shit down and peed all over the floor. And she like confronted him about it. And now she's probably trying to apologize and smooth things over. Hate the artwork on this particular card. Makes me enraged. Makes me not want to forgive or learn. I want to get even more bitter and angry just looking at the artwork on this card. Who agrees? Who agrees that this is an aggressive, unnecessary illustration for a card suggesting that you open your heart to kindness, forgive and learn? As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. This is a great card for this moment, actually. because the month of Cancer is all about overcoming some of the things in our pain body, as Eckhart Tolle talks about it. He talks about in an energetic, in your light body, like you store all your pain, and it's the thing that's like, triggering your ego or whatever. But yeah, so we've been kind of processing a lot of this stuff in the month of Cancer, and the challenge is to be able to feel and digest the feelings and overcome them, and kind of arrive at a sense of levity and happiness and joy, as opposed to getting like sucked down in the quagmire of sadness and regret, or just resigning oneself to apathy or hopelessness. So a lot of that, we're offloading it, and we're feeling like new people. We're cleaning the slates. And if there is, like, we always want to be forgiving our past relationships, because we don't want to go into the next one carrying all that baggage and all those hangups and all those assumptions, because the next person may not have, like, maybe nothing like the person that you used to date or the people that you used to date. You may have had patterns in the past of attracting these certain types, but now you're stronger. And now you know that when you start seeing these red flags, and you start seeing that this person is exhibiting behaviors that go against your boundaries and your standards, and maybe you've communicated this, and if they continue on in this route, it's up to you to leave, right? I hear a lot of people, and I know that I've been in this boat too before I was more aware of myself, but I've done this, and I've heard a lot of people talking about, being so miserable and how awful it was being stuck with their ex for so long and going through all the suffering that their ex put them through. But really, you put yourself through it just as much as the ex did, because you did not have to stay. You may have been trapped in a situation financially, and there may have been other factors, like maybe there are some situations where people like break you down, and they make sure to take all your resources so you can't leave. But at any rate, you need to get a game plan and get out. And if you see these things and this weirdness happening, like it's not just that all of a sudden someone starts behaving this way. There's like conditioning that they sort of project onto you that leads to this. So that's why it's important that we do hold to our standards. I mean, not everyone is a psychopath or a narcissist or whatever, but it's up to us to choose whether or not we're staying in a situation. And if we've communicated our boundaries and our needs to someone, and they're still like treating us not in an acceptable way, then it's up to you at that point to walk away. And I realize that I'm saying that as a person that doesn't have the complications of like children. But I have lived with someone and had my finances like all tied up in them, and had to walk away and had to leave, or not leave, but let the relationship dissolve. And it wasn't even an abusive situation. It was just that like they did not agree with my plans for my life or the things that I wanted to do. They wanted to have more control over that, and they didn't have enough self-awareness to like make a good sound judgment or input in the situation. It was like they weren't self-aware, and they were being reactive to life, and they wanted to project that on me. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to stand true to myself, and if that means the relationship dissolves, it just has to. And it did, and that meant that I had to take over my place and like double my bills, and it was hard, and it was scary, and it was very sad and heartbreaking, but at the same time though, it's been liberating, and I feel like empowered, and it's been a wonderful year because I haven't had my energy like mixed in with anyone else's, right? And so I'm grateful for the whole relationship, and I'm grateful that it ended. Like I feel like it was a graduation, right? So if we can start like looking back on our past experiences in our past relationships and taking the good things and then being grateful that they ended when they did, you know, and that we didn't have to go through any more suffering than we did, right? But we don't want to hold the pain and carry it with us into the next relationship, because really and truly, like, we are going to be in the next relationship with us. And if you are experiencing like a continuous pattern with people, then you have to ask, like, what part of it is that you're contributing to this situation, because the common denominator here is definitely you or me or whatever, like the half of the relationship that's watching this video right now, that's experiencing the pattern. So before you think that another person is going to be the answer as opposed to this person or that person, realize that any person that you're with is going to be your soulmate for the moment, that the creator is just going to use as a channel to mirror your current energy and vibration and state of being. And it's going to also mirror, and what is the other, like, you're going to be challenged by the person, but you're also going to be, like, your strengths would be accentuated, right? Like, everyone that we're with is an assignment that we learn from. It's not to say that any choice is as good as any. No, I think you should be very choosy, and you don't have to choose anyone. You can be alone until the right thing comes along, right? But in the meantime, what we want to do is forgive ourselves of our past and our past choices, because we were just doing the best that we could with the wisdom that we had and the experience that we had at the time, right? So forgive yourself, forgive past partners, and forgive others who maybe weren't in a full relationship, but like maybe, you know, you projected expectations on them that they didn't live up to, or vice versa, or whatever. So yeah, forgive, heal, move forward, and feel yourself lightening up. I'm feeling happier by the day, that's for sure. Okay, what else? What will help us in our love life this week? Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. There may be a situation, well, like we were just saying, that if you are, like, let's say, let's use an example of a married couple that has like 3 young children, right? And one of the partners has had an extramarital affair. It's like, in this modern age, you know, I think the general culture would just be like, leave that person, you know, fuck them or whatever. You deserve better, you know, be independent. And like, that's all fine and good. And it sounds really nice, but like, it's going to be very difficult circumstances and a very difficult experience when you're going to uproot your life and you're going to, like, both of you are going to start from scratch. It's going to be horrible. And like, if this is a person that you have absolute unreconcilable differences with, or if there's an abuse situation, it's like, yeah, that's definitely like, free yourself. Because I think that there's a vice in overstaying in a relationship to stick it out no matter what, if it's awful and the person will not grow with you. But before you actually try to decide to dissolve a relationship that is like deeply meaningful to you, or that you're like very deeply like bound in, especially when there's kids involved, I would say like do the spiritual work on yourself first, because you're going to start perceiving things differently, and you're not going to take things the same way as you used to. And so you're going to be showing up differently. And so someone else is going to be responding to what you're showing up as differently, because you're going to be responding to them differently, and so on. So if you can come in with better energy from a healed like state of wholeness, and you can start working on yourself, that might elevate the relationship. That might improve things. Try to do that first. Work on yourself and the relationship first, because if you just leave and everything's still a mess, you're going to go to the next relationship and you're still going to be the same mess that you were in the last one. and more than likely, you're going to be attracting the same type of partner who's going to show up in the same kind of way, and you're going to have similar or maybe exactly the same problems because you're still vibrating the same. So you're still going to resonate with the same frequency. So before you throw it all away, give your relationship a chance. And maybe there's a dark horse in the running out there. Maybe there's something that you'd given up on or whatever, but maybe just hold on. Maybe don't give up fully. Maybe just give up for now. Maybe it's just not the right timing. But maybe there is hope for you yet. You never know. But definitely work on your relationship with yourself and with your creator, and that can change any situation. Your partner can suddenly like up level with you, according to Kabbalah, if you're doing the work and you're elevating and you're being sincere and like really showing up. If that's a partner that's like truly good for you and like you're really growing together as soulmates, or that you have like a long-term like, you know, thing together, like something of value that's worth sustaining, that your partner can actually like have a spontaneous up-leveling without even doing the work. It's like so unfair. Okay, what else do we need to know? Of course, that's not always the case. Sometimes the partner does not up-level. In my case, I was not sure if my relationship should end. There were some problems, but overall, I loved him, and I wasn't sure if we were supposed to. It was one of those things where it's like, do you stick it out? I mean, this is like, adult relationships are not always easy, and eventually if you want commitment and you want like a long-term partner, you have to just decide to stick it out when things go bad, right? So I was not sure really whether or not he and I should break up or whether we were supposed to be sticking it out, and I decided to double down on my soul work and try to make myself the best partner that I could be in the relationship. And when it was all said and done, like, he initiated the kind of the argument that spawned the final breakup. But I think I was ready for it at that point because I was already wondering about it. I just wasn't sure if I was making the right decision. So it was kind of mutual in the end, but he definitely brought it up. Oh my God. This Thursday is just going to leave us thirstier and frustrated and like quite frankly turned off. Like family issues. This has been coming up all week, guys. I don't know. I think we might be on to the father healing at this moment. I think that earlier in the month there was a lot of mother healing going on. Now, if you're still healing the mother wounds, then by all means, keep on with it. But either parent or both, we're healing family wounds. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And this is true because the way that we witnessed our parents interacting or not interacting in our earliest years left an impression. And it created subconscious patterns and expectations, and for the good and for the bad. And it may not even be like, it could be a negative expectation that doesn't have to be true. Like, if you have commitment issues because your parents had such a terrible relationship and you're like, oh, I don't ever want to get married because I don't want it to be like my parents, and I don't want to like have all that like structure, and like that's not the kind of life I want to live. And it's like, well, that's just a pattern that you're assuming. Like, you can have your marriage can be unique. You can have a long-term partnership and it doesn't have to be the same way. But it takes us digging those those memories up and kind of examining them and going, okay, am I showing up in a familiar way that I witnessed growing up, or is my partner or the partners that I picked showing up in a way that was familiar that I watched growing up? And if so, is that healthy, and do I want to continue that, or do I want to like observe that, name it and claim it, and shift that mindset and just practice more presence and self-awareness there, and not go down that road? All right, so you guys, we're forgiving and learning. We're forgiving and learning from ourselves and from our past relationships. We are giving some relationship, still hanging in there with it, give it a chance. And then in addition to that, we are healing family issues. And so this card kept coming up, and it just kept passing me, and it kept flipping over. No matter how many times I was not ready for it, and I just kept putting it back in the deck. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Okay, so you guys, I'm feeling that there may be some possible crush or sitch, whatever it is out there that is valid and maybe worth not throwing in the towel on quite yet. Because the block here is probably bottlenecked by the issues that we are being asked to look at, heal, and release here. And if we can do this first, then it might actually save this and set us up for a better experience to come, right? So if we stay here and we don't heal and we don't forgive, then it's already sabotaging this. Forget about it. Forget about it. But if we work on the family healing and we release the past and we forgive those who have come before and come through for visits, forgive all those past relationships and do the family healing. And I think that will not only unburden you of a lot of emotional toxicity that's weighing you down, it will renew your general magnetism and attraction, but it will also renew your openness. It will open your heart back up again, and it will help you feel a little bit safer to be vulnerable again. Will open the flow of energy. It will raise your self-worth, because you'll be falling more in love with yourself, because there's less ego shells to get in the way that are going to be, it's like when we harbor bad feelings towards someone, it feels so bad and so off and so wrong that on a subconscious level, it causes us to have shame and self-loathing about it, right? It feels so good when you can go wake up and go through the day without having any kind of argument or any beef with anyone. It's amazing when there's nobody that makes you sick to think about them, or that's grinding your gears. It's so freeing to just be at peace. So when you are in that state, it's harmonious. It's love. You are in the vibration of love, and then you are magnetic and attracting and open to receiving love, right? Because you have to be love to be able to forgive and appreciate. It's one step further from forgiving a terrible experience or something that someone had wronged you in some way. One step further from forgiving is actually being grateful that it happened. I know that sounds far-fetched if you're in the throes of rage and heartache, but eventually, if you get to the other side of it, and you'll be better off for it, and you'll feel stronger and more independent and more confident, and you will look back and you'll be like, oh my God, I've gotten so much more, I've learned so much. I've become such a better person from this. I've grown so much from this. I'm actually grateful that I went through that. That is a big deal. That is healing right there. And that's not only healing, it's elevating. It's expanding consciousness big time, raising that vibration. All right, you guys, my baked potato is in the oven. I'm finishing my stillhead trout from last night. Turned out really good. It was perfectly blackened. My garden zucchini that I grew myself was delicious. I still have some of that left over, and I still have my cucumber and dill salad. So it's just going to be a little nosh feast. And then I'm going to watch, I'm still on Chilling Tales of Sabrina. I've been really enjoying that. And yeah, then I will go to bed at a decent hour. Oh, I'm gonna water my garden. Update on the house. I came in today and it did smell less like basement. I've had excess moisture, and then I troubleshot it back to like my AC unit was not draining the condensation properly. So I'm hoping that that is the issue and they can come fix it soon. And right now it's just like, it's good enough. It'll hold, but it's improving. So don't worry, guys. I've got this. Just civil engineering over here. All right, y'all. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.